What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Errol the Truth Spence. You know, I've been reading my comments, and I see a lot of people label me, quote unquote, like a Spence hater. I don't hate on Spence. I'm just telling you the truth about Spence. Any fighter that I talk about, I might not like what they do, right? And a lot of things might bother me about it, and then for that reason, they get counterpunched, right? Errol Spence is no exception. You got a guy that's a very good fighter that fights on Fox and PBC, okay? Showtime occasionally. So he's that dude. He's an Al Heyman fighter, and he's a very good fighter. You know, Errol Spence is a very good fighter. He overcame a wreck. He fought a very, very tough competitor, an ex-champion in Danny Garcia, coming off of that wreck, right? After thinking he got his bearings back. Now, that takes faith, first of all, because a lot of people didn't know, not even his trainers knew, if he could take a punch from someone like Danny Garcia, but he could. He took it, and he kept moving forward, and he kept beating his opponent. However, he's a very good opponent. Does that mean he's the best guy in the division? No, it doesn't. He's just fighting the guys that's available to his stable. That's basic. Okay, that's basic. If you fight the available guys that's in your stable, that doesn't prove that you're the best, because everybody knows you have other fighters or better fighters in other stables and other networks. That's how you would want to challenge yourself. So don't get mad at me when I point that out, that Errol Spence is not trying to challenge himself like he should. The only reason he's fighting Canelo is because Canelo's Hispanic, and he needs another Hispanic doing the Al Heyman-ology on how to sell fights to sell his fighter. That's the only reason he's doing it. He's doing it for the cash. That's all. If Canelo wasn't that marketable, he would not be talking about Canelo Alvarez. In fact, they'll be talking about how dangerous that fight is to fight Canelo. But he's thinking about dollar signs. But he can't really see is, well, they didn't want you to fight Terrence Crawford, but they want you to fight Canelo, a much bigger fucking guy, all right, in 2 weight classes north of you. So he ain't really thinking that through. But maybe he doesn't give a shit either. Maybe he's doing it for the money and solely for the money. Cool. You know, but at the end of the day, you can't say that you're the best welterweight. You can say, well, I'm one of the top dogs. You can't say you the top dog. You haven't fought the WBO, and you're trying to fight old-ass Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, get him. And that's why another reason Manny should retire, by the way. That's a side note. You know what I mean? Because that WBA belt, if he's not defending it, and I know the corona and all that shit, but he needs to defend it or vacate it, so someone else could at least fight for it. And hopefully that's not someone a part of the PBC, but more than likely it is, because that's 75% of the division right there, the PBC Fox. Okay, so Bud, I wish him well, but this isn't about Bud. This is about Errol Spence. You know, Errol Spence, you pretend to be this company man that you only fight on certain networks. And that, you know, that was just set in stone, supposedly, when it came to fighting Crawford, because that was the excuse. Like, I'm not fighting at ESPN. All right? I fight on PBC, Fox, period. Showtime, period. I'm not fighting on ESPN at all. Those were his words. But when it comes to Canelo, oh, yeah, we can go to DAZN. And Canelo ain't losing. He ain't leaving that DAZN money, because DAZN owes him. They owe him. If he's with De La Hoya or not, you see what his last fight was on. It was on DAZN. So if Errol Spence is going to make a fight, that shit going to be on DAZN. You know, like it or love it, it's going to be on DAZN. So you'd rather to come out of that political seat of being or fighting on that banner just to fight Canelo. That's it. He'll do it for that. And that just shows you, yeah, I'll do it at a price. That's those guys are over there at the PBC. You know, and more than likely, you know, shout out to Bruce Vane. I seen that video earlier. Even if he beats Canelo, that don't mean he will beat Canelo, but I'll tell you what'll happen. An uproar, a support of Errol Spence by certain channels, and they're going to have a field day. So it gives them a whole new line of content once Canelo gets the nod for beating Errol Spence and taking that O from Errol the Truth Spence. You know what I mean? And they won't be wrong for it, because Canelo has some strange fights where you wondered how the hell these scorecards look the way they look, right? So anyway, so that would be a whole different situation when he does lose a decision to Canelo, because everyone knows hashtag Canelo on points. That hashtag is real. Look it up. And I'm not saying that just to be funny. No, that's a real hashtag, because Canelo cannot lose decisions. Right? He might have a piss poor fight. He'll have a De La Hoya versus Felix Stern. And you know how that fight went. That fight sucked. That stunked up the place. De La Hoya's performance was piss poor before getting knocked out by Bernard Hopkins. But before he fought Bernard Hopkins, he lost anyway. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know, because they were trying to secure that super fight back in the day. Backstory, you know. But anyway, Errol Spence, I'm not hating on Errol Spence. I just want Errol Spence to challenge himself, but it seems like he doesn't give a shit about that. But then want to talk like he's the big top dog or he's the best in the division, but want to throw scraps to make a fight between the best pound for pound fighter in the fucking world. Come on, man. Spare me with that, please. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it in this early morning. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.